That Godfather movie, yeah. Did you notice this part?
Michael Corleone. Everybody knows he's a godfather. He's the head of the mob family. And in the very beginning of Godfather 3, he's being anointed with a sword in New York as a member of the Knights of Malta. Yeah, it's in the movie. He's he's right in the church, and the cardinal is anointing Michael Corleone into something called the Knights of Malta. The Knights of Malta are a very powerful secret society operating behind and for the Catholic Church. They're connected to something called Opus Dei, the work of God, Opus Dei, and Opus Dei, CIA, NSA, all of these alphabet agencies are connected to the Knights of Malta, which is a Catholic institution. And it makes sense because Rome, America, is the new Holy Roman Empire. I mean, Caesar, where did Caesar rule the empire from in Rome? He ruled from a place in Rome called Capitoline Hill. Capitol Hill. And in the reference books, you can read in the history books where Caesar in the morning would go up on the hill. Well, we still say that. You know, the president's up on the hill. What was he up on the hill for in Rome? Well, he was going to officiate over the Senate. That's what we got. We got a Senate up on the hill. It's all Catholic. It's all Jesuit. It got nothing to do with Jews. We're talking Vatican, the Holy Father. This is why all over the world, all the politicians go and kiss the ring of the Holy Father and bow down and kiss the ring. Why? Because he's the Holy Father. He represents God. He is the Godfather. We're talking Rome. We're talking powerful occult orders of secret societies, Opus Dei. They're the people who Rome gave birth to something called P2, Propaganda Due. P2 Lodge is operating out inside the Vatican, inside the Catholic Church, as a secret society called Propaganda Due, P2. P2 is an extremely powerful occult network of very powerful politicians, military leaders, and they are well known. Even in the movie Godfather 3, P2 is mentioned twice. Go back and watch it. They talk about P2. And there's a time when the young man who's taking over the Godfather position is meeting the Grand Master of P2, Propaganda Due. It's in the movie. And he introduces him as the master of P2. It's a trick. The whole entire world is a business. And the more I learn about this, the more you see how this stuff really works. It's extraordinarily scary stuff. So it's very difficult to get out of the system, and I'm not sure you want to. There is a way to get out. There's actually a fairly easy way to get out from the system. But here's the problem. When you opt out of the federal system, you don't want to be a federal employee anymore. You can become a state citizen. This is what was going on before and during the Civil War. Before the Civil War and during the Civil War, people in America were called state citizens. And the way the country was set up back in 1776, every man, woman, and child in this country was considered a sovereign, meaning you had the same power in you, as an American, you had the same power of a king of England. You were a sovereign. That's why in the cowboy movies, you've seen how many movies, the John Wayne cowboy movies, well, the cowboys are riding into town with guns. They didn't have to have a permit. Ask those guys coming in off the prairie with their guns, do you have a permit? Why? Because cowboys could wear guns. Why? Because you're a sovereign. Under maritime admiralty law, the way the country was founded, you're a sovereign. Sovereign means you're a king. And a king has a right to arm himself. The King of England has a right to have an army. What are you going to do about it? And so one day, if the King of Spain wakes up and decides he doesn't like the King of France, and he's going to declare war on the King of France, well, that's the same thing in a bar and a cowboy. One king, he's a sovereign. He's got guns. He's got his own guns, and he's legal. He's lawful. And he's decided he doesn't like you. And you're another king. So now you got two kings. and they've got and now they've got a bad situation here. Well, go out in the street and solve it. Why? Because that's like the movie High Noon. Cowboys could go out in the street in America in front of the sheriff and draw on each other. Why? Because the law says that you were a sovereign. And as a sovereign means you're a king. You can do whatever you want, but you're going to pay for it, because if you're carrying a gun, well, so is he. And so if you're going to go out in the street with a gun, just know this is serious. One of you is not going home tonight, right? And so that was the way America was founded. To go back to the idea that there was a time when you could become a state citizen. And if you're a state citizen, that means you're not in the federal system, because the federal was referred to as a U.S. citizen. But no, if you were born in Colorado, you could say, I'm a Colorado citizen, not a U.S. citizen. And so you can do the same thing today. You can become a state citizen today in America. And once you do, you're out of the federal system completely. And the federal government no longer has any jurisdiction over you at all, period. I mean, if you have a wife and your baby and your kid is in my house and he's acting up, I can't discipline him. Why? Jurisdiction. He's not mine, he's yours. If anybody's going to do anything, you, not me, because I don't have jurisdiction. Well, that's the way the government works. If you're a state citizen, the federal government does not have jurisdiction, and they know it. So they just leave you alone.